Welcome to a new installment of Look and Listen, our monthly online exploration of the intersection of Asian music with visual arts from across the continent. I'm Sonia Coman-Ernstoff, the Anvan Bima Curatorial Fellow at the Freer Gallery of Art and Arthur M. Sackler Gallery, the Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. In this episode, we are focusing on a Japanese stringed instrument, the koto. I'm joined from New York City by the wonderful koto virtuoso Yumi Kurosawa, a winner of the National Japanese Koto Competition, who has performed with the Tokyo Symphony Orchestra and at Carnegie Hall, as well as the Freer Gallery, among many other prestigious engagements. Let's begin with Yumi's arrangement of the classical Japanese folk song, Sakura, which means cherry blossoms. As you listen to the music, we invite you to look at two Japanese woodblock prints from the Freer and Sackler collections, depicting, cherry blossoms. In one print, Takahashi Shotei's Nekata from the 1920s, you'll see cherry branches heavy with blossoms as they frame a dwelling in the Japanese countryside. In the other print, Kawase Hasui's creation from 1935, you'll enjoy more blossoming cherries, but here, what is framed may surprise you. You'll surely recognize the Washington Monument. From Japan to the United States, here are cherry blossoms in art and music. Enjoy.
Hello everyone. My name is Yumi Kurosawa, Japanese koto player and composer. Thank you for having me today. I hope you enjoy some music and stories. Now I am going to play Sakura Sakura Cherry Blossom. It was originally made for koto teaching and it became one of the most famous Japanese songs later on. like to explain about the koto. Koto has more than 1300 years history. It was used for everyday training for monks and medical doctors to raise their inner strength and concentration. And then it became part of education for the aristocratic society. And then finally, it became culture for people in general. Regular koto has 13 strings, which is here to here, this much. Actually, this one is 21 strings. I'd like to talk about that another time. And there are 2 sound holes underneath. Koto body is made of paulownia wood, which is very soft and delicate, and it's hollow instrument like a box. We use only 3 picks, no one knows why. Strings are made of nylon nowadays, but used to be silk, and bridges are movable. That means I have to move bridges physically. I'd like to show you how it works. E flat, E, F. Also, we bend strings. So it's same thing. Also, koto shape is inspired by something animals, like mythical animals. Do you know what it is? Yes, it's a dragon. So it's dragon head, tail, eyes, mouth.
Thank you, Yumi, for introducing us to the koto. The Freer and Sackler collections include quite a few works of art that depict the koto in various settings. For example, this 18th century woodblock print by Suzuki Harunobu shows 2 women getting ready to play the koto. This one is putting on finger guards for plucking the strings. The other woman is looking through a couple of books. We know they are songbooks from the title of the one she's holding, which reads Kinkyokushu, or Songbook for the Koto. The title of Harunobu's print is Descending Geese of the Koto. We understand the reference to the koto, but where are the geese? Nowhere, if we mean it literally, or everywhere, if we delve deeper into the meaning of the picture. The descending geese represent a theme, namely one of the 8 iconic views of the Chinese rivers of Shao and Shan. These views have been depicted for centuries in Japan, whether all together in one picture or in a series of 8 images. The subject matter was quickly reinvented to speak to other topics through a process of playful reinterpretation known as mitate. Harunobu's print is part of a mitate series titled 8 Views, not of the Shao and Shan rivers, but of the parlor, the semi-private space of the sitting room where one receives guests. The episode of the descending geese is captured here in 2 ways. First, the bridges of the koto are likened to geese that just descended upon the sandbank of a river. And second, one of the songs in this book mentions wild geese in its lyrics. As you can tell, this mode of embedding cultural references in the image relied on the viewer being in the know and enjoying the game. Like the continuous reinvention of the 8 views theme in the visual arts, koto music too has evolved throughout its history from the 1600s to the present day. Yumi is a pioneer in continuing that process by developing new styles of playing. Let's hear Yumi talk about some of the techniques that she has developed.
I'm from totally Japanese traditional music family. I started studying koto when I was 3 years old under my parents. I started playing contemporary music composed by others and playing with Western musical instruments when I was a teenager. After I moved to New York City, I started to compose own music. I've worked with jazz, many types of dance, music, video, installation, so many kinds of arts. My very first composition, named Inner Space, is very special for me. When I started compose music, I was very afraid. I felt I needed to break away from the traditional music and technique on my instrument. But at the same time, I couldn't hold so many different sounds in my head, in my heart anymore. As an example, I invented this technique. It's in inner space, and the melody connects to Japanese music scale, but using it in a modern way. I remember this being a step forward. As a result, I started seeing my new perspectives in my craft and the need for my own path as an artist.
Such a beautifully expressive new technique. It's no wonder that composers today are writing music for Yumi to premiere. Our experience of koto music is only enriched by enjoying it alongside visual art with which it resonates, be it a depiction of the instrument we're hearing or a metaphor of artistic innovation that aptly describes both sound and image. To further celebrate this confluence of looking and listening, we invite you to enter the world of this Japanese ink painting from the early 19th century, attributed to Gyokudo, a visual artist who was also an accomplished koto performer. Although the figure playing the koto is so very tiny, the expansive mountains and rivers landscape that surrounds it is so expressive, so evocative, that it appears to be a construct of the artist's poetic imagination. Let your mind and heart wander about this captivating space while we hear Yumi perform her original composition, Inner Space. What a dynamic work, and so compellingly performed for us. To conclude our program, let's hear another modern adaptation for the koto, this one playing off of the theme of the four seasons, which has been a favorite topic in Japanese music and visual arts for centuries. Here is Yumi's arrangement of a popular American tune, George Gershwin's Summertime. As you listen, you'll be able to see a 17th century Japanese screen from our collections attributed to Tawaraya Sosetsu, a follower of the celebrated master Sodatsu. The screen depicts lush summer flowers growing under a mimosa tree, expertly depicted in washes of ink and pigment against a gold-leafed background. What makes it possible to pair the 17th century Japanese painting with a tune by George Gershwin? The summer theme, of course, but more importantly, it is Yumi's rendition on the koto, bridging cultures as well as bridging tradition and innovation. I'll bet you never heard Summertime sound quite like that. Perhaps the next time you look at Japanese art inspired by summer or the other seasons, you'll see it a bit differently. As we've come to know with Harunobu's print and with Yumi's own musical work, surprising juxtapositions that don't relinquish tradition but revisit and reinvent it are a core principle in Japanese aesthetics. You can hear more of Yumi's playing on our concert podcast of her performance with the Lark String Quartet from our website. Just go to asia.si.edu and search for Yumi Kurosawa. Thank you for listening, thank you for looking, and thank you for listening and looking at the same time. Be well and see you next time.
Thank you for watching. Let's stay safe and be creative.